Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is John Viglotti. On behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for the Clean Energy Metals Conference. Our last presenter today is from LIFFF. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Daniel Gordon. He's the Investor Relations Manager of LIFFF, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol LIFFF and on the TSXV under the symbol LIFT. Welcome back, Daniel.
Thanks, John, and thanks to everyone who is joining today to hear the LIFFF story. Before I begin, I will be making some forward-looking statements, so please review at your own leisure, and let's dive in. So I will be going into a little more detail for these bullet points as we go through the presentation, but just some high-level information regarding LIFFF and why invest. So the resource potential for this project, which is our Yellowknife lithium project, it has the potential to be one of North America's largest hard rock lithium resource bases, which what kind of makes us stand out from a lot of the other projects that are being developed in Canada specifically is our excellent access to infrastructure. All of our projects have access to existing roads and rail. We have been moving at an expedited strategy. So between June of 2023 and April of 2024, we did have an aggressive drill plan where we completed 50,000 meters of drilling at the project. And we are targeting to put out our MRE on the Yellowknife Lithium project next month, to be exact. When it comes to ESG, we have excellent relations with the Indigenous groups that surround the Yellowknife Lithium project, and we are working towards our environmental assessment initiation in 2025. Any company that is around needs to have a strong executive team behind it, and we have a track record of discovery, M&A, and mine building on our executive team as well as on the board. And typically, it's all about timing. You want to we're at or near the bottom of the lithium market, and typically commodities are cyclical, and you want to buy low and sell high. So let's dive in a little deeper. So LIFFF, we have 3 projects within the portfolio. Our flagship project is the Yellowknife Lithium project, which is located just outside the capital of the Northwest Territories, Yellowknife. That consists of 13 spodumene pegmatites that have near 100% exposure, which makes it easy to see the exceptional potential of the project. As I alluded to a minute ago, we have excellent transport infrastructures and proximity to road and rail around the project. We've completed 50,000 meters of drilling on the project. That ended in April of this year. And results from the 286 drill holes definitely indicate that extensive widths and excellent grades at the project. We have 2 other projects within the portfolio. The other one in the Northwest Territories is our Cali project. That's a pegmatite dike swarm that's over a 1.5 kilometer by 1 kilometer area. Initial results from some groundwork that we've done is returned 124 of 163 grab samples that had over 1% Li2O. It has road access within 6 kilometers of the pegmatites, and it's possible to get spodumene concentrate to rail in Fort Nelson. The third project within our portfolio is our Quebec Greenfields properties. So we are the largest land package holder in the James Bay region of Quebec. We have large spodumene intil anomalies that have been defined at Pontax, which is one of the 3 projects within the portfolio, and it's very similar to the magnitude to the Whabouchi area. We are also looking at additional targets to follow up on within our Rupert project within the portfolio as well. As I mentioned, you need an excellent management team in order to move a project forward, and we think that we have one of the best out there. Our CEO, Francis McDonald, is formerly the co-founder of Knorrland Minerals, which is a project generator. They actually have worked with some of the majors in looking for new discoveries. In fact, they have a discovery in Quebec that they have partnered with Sumitomo Mining, which is currently a 3 million ounce gold deposit. And prior to that, Francis worked for Newmont Mining. So he actually worked up at the Hope Bay project, which Newmont sold to TMAC, which now is under Agnico Eagle. Alex Langer, our president, he worked with Canaccord Genuity, where he's funded over 100 private and public companies. And he most recently was the VP of Capital Markets for Millennial Lithium that was acquired, I think it's about 3 years ago now, to Lithium Americas for just under $500 million. And he's also the CEO and president of Sierra Madre Gold and Silver. Andy Marshall, our CFO, he has been a CFO in the junior mining space for almost 20 years. And prior to that, he was an accountant for PwC. April Hayward, our Chief Sustainability Officer, she has over 25 years of experience in the environment and sustainability sector. She was pivotal in the permitting of the Ekati diamond mine up in the Northwest Territories. As well, she was the Chief Sustainability Officer for Mountain Province Diamonds, which was the partnership with, I believe it's with Rio Tinto on the Diavik mine, excuse me. And then finally, Dave Smithson, our Senior Vice President of Geology. He also is a former Newmont Mining guy. He was in charge of he was a global specialist for Newmont Mining, where he actually went out and went looking for new discoveries in brownfields projects in the Newmont Mining portfolio. Our board of directors, Paul Gruner is an Indigenous business leader in the Northwest Territories. He is the CEO for the business arm of the Clecho Indigenous group up in the Northwest Territories. Ian Scar is the former COO of Millennial Lithium, and he's brought 3 former lithium projects to the feasibility stage. Eva Bellissimo, she is a lawyer that was part of the Newcrest Newmont merger, as well as she's been heading up the Osisko latest acquisition. And Andre Saint Germain, she is the CFO at Integra Resources. So as I mentioned, the Yellowknife Lithium Project is unique in its accessibility to infrastructure. So as you can see on the map, we have the Ingram Trail that runs through a portion of our property. From there, we can take our spodumene concentrate down to the railhead in Hay River. And from Hay River, it can connect out to the ports. Or potentially for the future, if there was a processing facility in Edmonton, it would be perfectly positioned to bring our spodumene concentrate down there. And we'll look at that in a little more detail on this map, where you can see the rail line and our proximity to both the ports and to Edmonton. So optionality for where we send our spodumene concentrate is pretty easy when you compare it to some of the other projects that are currently being developed in Canada specifically. ESG is, we focus on it as a very important part of the company. And obviously, if you don't have strong relationships with the Indigenous groups around your projects, then you're probably not going to get them permitted into production. So we established a exploration agreement with the main Indigenous group around our project, which is the Yellowknife Dene First Nation. and we have engaged them when it comes to working with them. So, at our peak, we were about 28.4% Indigenous employed when it came to our exploration efforts at the Yellowknife Lithium Project. And we are working towards our baseline environmental and socioeconomic data collection, which was initiated in 2023. And this is just giving you a better idea of the scale of the projects. So the tagline at LIFFF is that the Yellowknife Lithium Project is visible from space. And in fact, the image on the left is a satellite image of our Phi Main and Phi Southwest deposit. So you can actually see the scale of the property. And on the right is just a helicopter shot of the Phi Southwest pegmatite. So as you can see, there's a drill rig on the right-hand side of that image that's pointed at a giant wall of rock, which makes it easy to understand the potential of the project. We have completed 50,000 meters of drilling on 8 of the 13 pegmatites in the last 10 months. Most of the pegmatites are still open, and we are planning to do more step-out drilling in order to define the limits of the mineralization. Widths have been between 10 and 30 meters, and the total strike length is about 10 kilometers through all of the pegmatites. And that's with grade typically between 1 and 1.2% Li2O. Just to kind of give you an idea, they're in 3 clusters of lithium pegmatites. So we have the Big Knight property, the Hidden Lake, and the Echo property. So the Big Knight property is about 20 kilometers from Yellowknife. The Hidden Lake property is about 50 kilometers from Yellowknife, and the Echo property, which kind of would be a standalone deposit, is about 110 kilometers from Yellowknife. Proximity, so we have proximity to infrastructure, we have resource base and processing characteristics will determine the location of the eventual mining operation. This is the block models for some of the deposits. I'm not a technical guy, but as you can see here, this gives you a better idea of just the drill program and what we've completed. We have submitted 9 tons of rock collected from 8 of the pegmatites for metallurgical sampling. We do anticipate to put out results from that next month as well. And, preliminary mineralogy suggests that the vast majority of the lithium within the rock is hosted within spodumene. So please keep an eye out as we will be putting out results on that next month. When we look at our project and who we want to compare ourselves to, the best comparison we think is Sigma Lithium and their project in Brazil. So it's similar geology, similar in size. It's a district scale size project. They're both districts that have multiple dikes feeding into a global resource. Currently, they just updated their resource to 109 million tons. So you can see the possibility of what the potential for the Yellowknife Lithium Project is when you see the size of it compared to Sigma Lithium in Brazil. Again, when we're comparing ourselves to our peers, we think that there is a strong possibility of re-rating as we move the project forward. Currently, we don't have a mineral resource estimate out on the project. And if you look at all the companies to the left of LIFFF on this slide, they all have their a mineral resource estimate out on them. Currently, Latin Resources has just been acquired by Pilbara for, I believe it's over almost $600 million. And we, as I mentioned, as we progress through the development of the project, we think that there's a strong possibility we'll see a re-rating in the coming months and as the lithium market turns around. Diving into the other properties, our Cali Lithium project, which is also located in the Northwest Territories. It's actually located on the border of the Northwest Territories and Yukon. It's 50 kilometers to the north of the past-producing Cantong mine, which has an airstrip lay down and other infrastructure already in place. And Howard's Pass access road touches the edge of our claims and is 6 kilometers from the deposit area. This just kind of gives you an idea of where we are in regards to what the project looks like. So we've done prospecting and mapping in the summer of 2023. The project, it does have the land use permit in place to be able to start a drill program, which we hopefully will look at doing next summer. But it's 1.5 kilometers by 1 kilometer area, and the thickness observed was between 1 and 15 meters when it comes to the individual dikes. And it's been high grades that we've observed so far, as I mentioned earlier, with 124 of the 163 grab samples returning over 1% Li2O. This kind of just gives you another idea of the possibility and what we are seeing so far when it comes to the project. Again, this is just from the soil chemistry that we've taken. And then when we want to, again, compare the project to somebody else to kind of give you an idea, the Cali project has a similar footprint to Latin Resources' Colina lithium deposit in Brazil. Similar geological setting, pegmatite dike swarms with many narrow dikes, and there's a potential for Cali to have a similar resource base to Colina. Drilling will need to be done to define the size and geometry of the project dike swarms. As I mentioned, we are hopeful that we will get out there in the summer of 2025 to execute on a drill program. And then finally in the portfolio is our Quebec Greenfields project. So that includes 3 properties within the portfolio. That's our Rupert, Pontax, and Moyenne properties. We are the largest land package holder within the James Bay region. The Rupert project surrounds the Whabouchi lithium deposit and covers about 1,000 square kilometers of similar geology, and the Pontax project covers a similar geological setting that hosts the James Bay lithium project that is under Arcadium Lithium. When we look a little deeper in at Pontax, it's composed of claims that are 100% owned by LIFFF. It's road accessible with the Billy Diamond Highway running through the center of the property. And we completed about 264 till geochemistry samples over the Pontax Moyenne projects in 2022. And more in depth on Pontax, we have identified a 13 kilometer by 16 kilometer spodumene anomaly in till. The number of spodumene grains in till at Pontax is similar to the spodumene counts that are at the Whabouchi lithium deposit. The aerial extent of the Pontax spodumene anomaly is much larger than Whabouchi, and there's potential for multiple pegmatites within the Pontax project. The difficulty here versus, say, our Yellowknife lithium project is it's not a giant wall of rock that makes it easy for you to understand the potential. Everything within our Quebec Greenfields properties are under soil, so it takes a little more time to be able to identify potential targets. Similar, just when it comes to the spodumene counts, as mentioned earlier, there's potential for multiple significant deposits, similar in scale to the James Bay lithium deposits beneath glacial sediments, as I mentioned earlier. And it's a 20-kilometer trend of background values in the southeast of Whabouchi, so which shows we are not looking for, we've found stuff, we just have to narrow it down. When it comes to catalysts, as I mentioned, we completed our winter drill program. Our metallurgical testing is now pretty much completed, and we will be releasing the results from that next month. Our maiden mineral resource estimate will be coming out next month as well, and then we will continue to do some surface exploration work at Quebec with a target to put out a PEA on the Yellowknife lithium project by Q2 of 2025. And we've been ongoing when it comes to our environmental baseline data collection for the property. And finally, when it comes to our share structure, we have a pretty tight share structure. Issued and outstanding, we have just under 43 million shares, and just over 1 million options. Those are, and fully diluted brings us to just under 44 million fully diluted. Currently, we have a market capitalization of about 110 million and a cash position of 3 million. Our top 3 institutional holders are Commodity Capital, Extract Capital, and Tribeca Investment Partners. And we have strong ownership within the company. Our founders hold 55%, with between founders and management and directors, we hold 58%, with retail at 25 and institutional at about 17. And we have 4 analysts covering us currently, which is Canaccord, Sprott Resource Finance, Beacon, and Cormark, with hopefully some more to come online in the next couple months as we move to release our mineral resource estimate. And then finally, the major highlights, we have a resource estimate, as I just mentioned again, that's coming out. We are continuing to do environmental work, advancing through the end of this year. We will be continuing to do drill target definition at the Pontax project this year, and our metallurgical testing results will also be coming out next month. And with that, I will jump on over to questions. So the first question is, any capital needs over the next 12 months, and how will you finance? As I mentioned, we have $3 million right now. We will, as an exploration company, we will need to finance, but right now there's been no decisions made as to when that will be. Obviously, with our share price being where it's at, we wouldn't want to raise capital currently at current share price. Similar, do we need to raise more cash this year? We will need to raise more cash. It's just a matter of timing. And again, with a strong founders holding, they won't want to raise capital at these prices. We think we may be close to the bottom of the lithium market. How is supply and demand right now? How much excess lithium is available to the market today? It's a good question. There's still an oversupply of lithium in the market, as there's been a bunch of mines that have come online. But I think you will see that will roll through. What are the milestones for a re-rating for LIFFF? As I mentioned, I think the 2 major milestones that are coming up that will possibly see a re-rating in the stock will be specifically the mineral resource estimate, which we are targeting to put out in the next month or so, as well as the metallurgical testing. I think more so you'll see that the mineral resource estimate should be the trigger for a possible re-rating on the stock. We're fairly confident that, as I mentioned at the beginning of the project of the presentation, we have what will be one of the largest hard rock lithium projects in North America, and we'll see how that goes. So I think that is it for questions. So I just want to thank everybody again for joining today to hear the LIFFF Power presentation. And if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you all, and have a great long weekend.